Highway 666 cut through the New Mexico desert like an abandoned scar. Officially designated as US 491, locals still whispered its original name, an inadvertent homage to the devil. Rusted "Do Not Pass" signs swayed in the wind, and stories of missing truckers were as common as tumbleweeds rolling across the road. In 2003, an unofficial report listed 23 missing drivers. All had one thing in common: active Tinder profiles days before vanishing. Karen Mitchell didn't care for legends. At 28, she'd already crossed all 48 continental states in her white truck, its doors plastered with stickers from ghost towns. "I collect places time forgot," she joked in videos for her YouTube channel, Trucker Diaries. Her addiction to true crime podcasts made her popular with listeners, and reckless. After all, what harm could come from a quick Tinder date? The road was too lonely to refuse company. That night, parked at an abandoned gas station, Karen pointed her phone camera at her tired face. Her green eyes glinted under her hoodie. "If I disappear," she said with an ironic smile, "check my Tinder. Maybe it'll still be active." The video ended with a pan across the desolate highway, lit only by her truck's headlights. She didn't notice the hazy figure reflected in the cabin window, or how the radio tuned itself to static filled with distant voices. The next morning, Karen found the match while drinking coffee at a gas station. The profile was named Dusty, a man in a cowboy hat, face blurred as if captured mid-motion. The bio was vague: "Just want someone to talk to on the road." But there was something hypnotic about its simplicity. "Perfect match for Friday the 13th. Karen scoffed, typing quickly. "You a trucker too?" The reply came instantly. "A bit of everything. You stopped in Albuquerque yesterday, right?" She froze. She'd never mentioned Albuquerque in her profile. Before she could question it, another message appeared. "The diner on Highway 666 still serves the best milkshake. 8 p.m.? Karen glanced at her truck, where her laptop displayed a map of the area. The Last Chance Diner was listed but marked closed since 1998. She laughed nervously. Probably a glitch, or a prank by a fan of her stories. "Only if the milkshake comes with a shot of courage," she replied, joking. The conversation continued. Dusty avoided personal questions but mentioned details that unsettled her. The name of her childhood dog, Buddy would have loved the road. Her hatred of ketchup, "I'll order fries without it." When Karen asked how he knew, the message vanished before she could read it. That night, back in her truck, Karen revisited Dusty's profile. His photo was still blurred, but now something new lurked in the corner, a reflection of an overturned truck. She screenshotted it, but the image saved as blank. "Trick of the light," she muttered, turning off her phone. It buzzed immediately. "See you at 8, like in 1998. When she reopened the app, the chat was empty. Only one notification flashed. "Dusty is online now." Highway 666 swallowed the twilight as Karen parked outside the Last Chance Diner. The brick building looked ripped from a black and white film. Shattered windows, a neon sign flickering open in dull red, and a wall clock frozen at 8:47. The wind dragged an aged menu to her feet. "Daily specials, July 15, 1998. It read, prices scratched out in outdated dollars. Dusty was already seated on a cracked leather booth. His cowboy hat hid his eyes, but Karen noticed his face remained blurred, as if perpetually out of focus. "You said you love stargazing, remember?" he said without preamble. It was a line chat a match from Utah had used months ago. Karen forced a smile. "How'd you guess?" "You told me." The air reeked of burnt oil and mold. As Dusty rambled about milkshakes and roads, Karen studied the room. Tables draped in cobwebs, a jukebox dead for decades, and a grimy mirror behind the counter. Her reflection was clear. His wasn't. "You're not really here, are you?" she asked, fingers trembling under the table. Dusty leaned forward. His hat slipped, revealing a shadow where his face should have been. "I'm more here than you think." The jukebox turned on, playing Hotel California at a slowed tempo. Lights flickered, and for a moment, the diner morphed into a nightmare. Charred walls, twisted chairs, and the stench of gasoline. Karen screamed at the sight of a man's body pinned under a table. his face matching Dusty's blurred photo. 1998 crash, Dusty whispered, his voice echoing like a broken recorder. No survivors, but now we have guests. Karen bolted for the door, but it was jammed. The neon, open, now read, "Run." "Come back," Dusty ordered, rising silently. She smashed a window with a rusted fire extinguisher and leapt out. Her truck was 100 yards away, but the road seemed to stretch endlessly. Behind her, the diner crumbled, revealing the skeletons of a truck and sedan collided. Karen sprinted to her truck, her heartbeat sinking with the crunch of dead leaves underfoot. The key turned, but the engine sputtered weakly. "Damn it!" She slammed the wheel, checking the rearview mirror. The diner was now smoldering rubble, but Dusty remained. He stood in the road, his silhouette flickering like a faulty hologram. "You're not leaving yet," his voice echoed from the truck's speakers. Karen grabbed her phone. Tinder was open, displaying an unsent message. "Save me." She deleted the app with shaky fingers. The engine roared, and she sped down Highway 66, headlights slicing the dark like knives. But the road looped endlessly. Every turn led back to the rebuilt diner, bricks rising, neon flashing. "This isn't real," she muttered, sweating. A shadow darted in front of the truck. Karen swerved, nearly flipping. Stumbling out, she saw them. Thermal figures in red and yellow, floating on the road. Faceless, voices warped. "Match with me, Karen. You'll stay. Forever." She scrambled to a ditch, her phone falling into dry soil. When she grabbed it, a notification glowed. 12 new messages from Dusty. The first photo showed Karen in her truck moments earlier. The second, the 1998 crash, bodies trapped in wreckage, one clutching an old cell phone. The last image was a screenshot of her Tinder bio, now altered. Available for eternal dates on Highway 666. "You're ghosts," she screamed into the void. "Echoes," corrected Dusty, materializing before her. His fingers brushed her wrist, disintegrating into static pixels. Memories stuck in loops, like your Tinder chats. Karen understood. The echoes were shadows of the crash, doomed to repeat strangers' dialogues to lure new drivers. Tinder was just the bait. "Why me?" "You collect stories," Dusty grinned, or his mouth twisted, trying. "Now you're part of one." A phantom truck emerged behind him, headlights blinding her. Karen jumped back into her vehicle and sped off, driving straight through the specter. This time, the road led away. At dawn, she stopped at a gas station, re-downloaded Tinder just to check. Dusty liked you. His profile now had 24 matches. 2 months passed, but Highway 666 hadn't freed Karen. She avoided night routes, slept at busy stations, and deleted Tinder 7 times. It always reinstalled. He always returned. Her profile was now a digital graveyard. Every match showed the same blurred photo, the same messages. "You said you love stargazing. See you at 8. Blocking them was futile. New profiles appeared minutes later, closer each time. One suggested a date inside her own truck. "Just bots," she lied, deleting her account for the 8th time. That afternoon, she agreed to an interview for an amateur documentary about Highway 666 disappearances. The cameraman, a skeptical young man, set up in a cheap motel. "What happened that night?" he asked. Karen stared at her hands, still marked by static burns. "They feed on loneliness. They use Tinder too." A shrill laugh crackled through the camera's speakers. The man frowned. "We didn't edit that." "It's the echoes," Karen whispered, backing away. "They hear everything." The lights died. When they flickered back, the cameraman sat beside her, his face blurred like Dusty's. "You're the 13th, he said in Karen's vlog voice, "but not the last." She shattered the camera with a scream, tossing the pieces into the motel's empty pool. That night, driving, her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. From, "You collect stories. Now you are one. Swipe right." Attached was a photo. Karen sleeping in her truck the night before, Dusty seated beside her. The stream titled, "Trucker Karen Live," appeared on YouTube at 3:33 a.m. For the first few minutes, Karen was recognizable only by her green eyes and faded hoodie. Her face was wrinkled like crumpled paper. Her hair, now gray, fluttered in the cab's wind. "They're everywhere," she whispered, staring at the passenger seat. "Don't trust matches after sundown." The camera shook, revealing Dusty beside her. Half his face was a deep fake of Karen, the other a collage of past victims. His lips moved in sync with hers. "Swipe right to join them." The screen froze into static. When it returned, the truck was empty. Only a QR code flashed where Karen had been, linking to a Tinder profile. Dusty, online now. Bio, 23 matches, 1 spot left. In the photo, Karen sat at the wheel, aged and static. If this haunting tale sent chills down your spine, don't let the echoes of Highway 666 fade. Join the ride. Subscribe to uncover more nightmares hiding in your feed. Like if you'd swipe left on Dusty, or right for the thrill. Share to warn fellow travelers, the road is watching.